Hello, and welcome to the Get Lean and Eat Clean podcast. My name is Gryn. I'm a certified health coach, trainer, and author. And this podcast is for middle aged men and women looking to optimize their health and get their bodies back to what it once was 10 to 15 years ago. I will give you simple, actionable items to get long term sustainable results. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. My name is Gryn. Hope you had a great weekend and happy Tuesday if you're listening to this on Tuesday. It's Thanksgiving week, so hopefully getting together with some family and friends and enjoying the week. And hopefully you listen to my interview with Dr. Andy Galpin over the weekend. We touched all about strength training, recovery, some effective supplements to help build muscle. We touched on his 3x5 protocol, which is something I'm going to experiment a little bit with in my training. So definitely check out episode 204 with Dr. Andy Galpin. And this week, I want to touch on a topic that comes up during the holiday season a lot, and that is alcohol. Should I drink it? Will it take me away from my health goals? And I'll just say this before I get into it. Enjoy the holiday. You can splurge a little bit. I think the main key here is, splurge and then get right back on track. And I think that's the most important thing. There's nothing wrong with enjoying some drinks and having some food that maybe something you wouldn't necessarily normally eat during the week on a weekly basis or annual basis, but once a year, twice a year, not a big deal. So enjoy the holiday. But I'm just going to touch a little bit on the science of how alcohol is actually broken down in the body. And then maybe just some tips if you want to say, hey, you know what, I will have a drink or two, but I want to sort of find the one that's maybe best for me or least harmful. Let's just say that. So alcohol is actually metabolized through a process called oxidation. And this involves a conversion of alcohol into what's called acetic acid, which is then further broken down into water and carbon dioxide. So the liver, as I'm sure you know, is the main organ responsible for alcohol metabolism, and it does so with the help of enzymes. So these enzymes are produced by liver cells and help to break down these alcohol molecules. It's a complex process, and there's some other organs involved, such as the stomach, pancreas, small intestine. They also can play a role. So once alcohol has been metabolized, then it is excreted from the body through urine. So that's the technicalities of how you break down alcohol. Now, the question is how are you utilizing it? And, what are sort of maybe, I don't know, like good tools of trade to follow if you want to sort of stay on track, but also splurge a little bit. And I'll just give you a few tips right now. One is I would be careful with mixed drinks. These mixes, these holiday mixers, are full of sugar, tons of calories, and most likely a lot of junk, a lot of artificial flavoring, things like that. So I would just stick to either a splash. If you want to do just a little bit of juice, you could do a splash of juice, cranberry or orange juice, nothing heavy. Or even like seltzer and club soda are good options as well. You can even do, something straight up and squeeze a lime or lemon in there. That's probably your best bet. So I would definitely stay away from these pre-made mixes because this is when you can really get into a ton of sugar and calories and just artificial ingredients. So make it neat or on the rocks, maybe a splash of lime or lemon. Also be careful. I know hard ciders are popular, but these brands, they're loaded with sugar. And if you're going to do a hard cider, try the ones that are a little bit drier and they have a little bit less sugar, and they actually have a higher alcohol content. So be careful with the ciders. I just say that, if you're talking about, wines, I would say you could go with either or, red or white. White tends to actually be slightly lower in calories if you're just going to talk about calories. Like a 5-ounce Chardonnay is about 127 calories. Same as for a Cabernet. So they're actually not too far off. They're all about 127 to 128 for a 5-ounce of wine. So I would just be careful because sometimes individuals, not including my wife, the other sweeteners, or I shouldn't say sweeteners, the other traits that are in wine are like tannins, yeast, sulfur. These could cause issues with a lot of wine. So you just got to be careful. There's a company called Dry Farm Wines where you can get these organic, lower sugar, and like none of these high sulfates and tannins are in the wine. If they are, they're at a lower level. So if you've never heard of them, definitely check them out. We've tried a few of them. My wife doesn't love them. I guess if you're used to really drinking normal wines, it might be a little bit of an adjustment, but Dry Farm Wines does have some great options, and there's a few other companies as well. When it comes to beer, it's one of those things where if you want to, chart calories, go with the lighter beers. The Corona Lights, the Miller Lights, the Natty Lights. I know those aren't probably at the top of your list. The craft beers, the ales and things like that, they may be more appealing because they're higher in alcohol, but they also have a lot more, probably at least three times as more calories as the lighter beers. Now, granted, if this is a one-time off thing, go enjoy the beer you want to enjoy. But if this is something that's happening on a weekly basis, then maybe you want to aim towards the lighter beers as opposed to these craft beers. So that's all I want to touch on today. I figure we touch a little bit about drinking. Again, enjoy, have fun, drink responsibly. If you want to stay on track, maybe take some of the tips I mentioned today and put them into action. So enjoy the holiday with your friends and family, and I will talk to you on Friday. Thanks for listening to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. I understand there are millions of other podcasts out there, and you've chosen to listen to mine, and I appreciate that. Check out the show notes at briangryn.com for everything that was mentioned in this episode. Feel free to subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend or family member that's looking to get their body back to what it once was. Thanks again, and have a great day.